So I reread The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and it actually is pretty creepy. I think I want to give a shout out to the cover illustration first. I mean, look at that. It's amazing. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow follows the story of Ichabod Crane and his run-in with the Headless Horseman. Ichabod Crane is characterized as this poor school teacher who has a big appetite, and he's like a very upright Christian man. But he also has an interest in witchcraft, and he carries a manual around, and he's a very superstitious sort of person. Ichabod is teaching and residing in this place called Tarrytown in New York State. Tarrytown has a history. It's supposed to be haunted. There's supposed to be ghosts and goblins and witches and whatnot. I'm not going to give it away here, but I like the Headless Horseman's backstory, or, well, it's more ambiguous. We don't know what his backstory really is. The central conflict of the story is between Ichabod, Brom Bones, a Dutchman, and Katrina. So there's like a little love triangle going on, and I'm not really a fan of love triangles. Ichabod Crane is trying to woo Katrina von Tassel because Katrina von Tassel is a wealthy heiress. This brings Ichabod into conflict with Brom Bones because he's already courting Katrina. The myth is open to interpretation, so I want to try and do that right now. There's the sort of Scooby-Doo interpretation where Brom Bones is the Headless Horseman, and you know what? It probably is fitting, but I guess that sort of takes away the mystery, so I don't think that's canon. I guess Katrina Van Tassel could also be the Headless Horseman. Another interpretation is that the Headless Horseman is supposed to represent Ichabod Crane's covetousness, because I think that Ichabod Crane is a very desirous sort of person. Ichabod Crane does directly parallel the Horseman, so I don't think that's an accident. Another possible interpretation is that the Horseman represents the fragility of Ichabod's faith, because he's mixing his Christian beliefs with his superstitions. The Headless Horseman could also represent Ichabod Crane's corrupt and dishonest desires to Katrina. It's not unheard of to marry a woman just for her wealth, but I guess it could also haunt Ichabod. Ichabod may want the Van Tassel property and estate and riches, but even then, he could be wrestling with himself because he knows it's not a good thing. The Horseman's design is creepy because it's imperceptible, but I think the pumpkin gives it a bit of silliness too. Because it's set in the 18th century, there is a lot of uncertainty, and it probably is very dark, right? There's no streetlights, so yeah, it would be a creepy time. So because this is a retelling and not the original, I don't know if this one excerpt is part of the original, but it's pretty good. Because Earth is surrounded by blackness, because of space, and because there is no up or down in space, we could all technically be upside down. And that was super trippy. It was really disorienting and, well done. I like the subversion of the cliche too. Ichabod's the underdog and we would be rooting for him ordinarily, but no, Brom Bones is the one who's more masculine.